And they can be thrown by the treemen, but the treemen obviously have no chance of eating them, nothing like that. So the cool shit is you can play a team of generic halflings that are just funny comic relief, get beat up. Some's gonna die, some's gonna live. Maybe not necessarily die and get injured, knocked off, taken off the field. But if you can just get one or two halflings into the spot, throw them over a good line, and get them in there, you can score points with this team, and it's a very fun team to play as. I've not played as them much, but looking at their stats, seeing how they're played, they seem like a very fun team to play as. It's getting beat by a halfling team. You being a halfling coach have to be really good or really strategic, but it's always insult to injury when you finally beat somebody with a halfling team. And their deep root, strong branch, the overpowered treant guy that, yeah, he's mean. Okay, we got your Norse alternate human team. They all have block skills. They're all very berserker-ish, but they're also very lightly armored, so they can get injured. They're basically your all offense, all or nothing kind of team. Lineman, thrower, runner, berserker I showed you, Norse werewolf. I guess how they conceive werewolves to be in Norse mythology. Don't ask me, I'm not a buff on that thing. Yetis, which are snow trolls, pretty fun. And Ice Pelt Hammerblow, their star player. A unique Yeti. Amazons, that's who my friend Gaz likes to play as. Probably because they're practically naked. You got your Blitzer, your Line Woman. I said Blitzers are pretty much your offensive hitter. Linemans are your generic units. Throwers, catchers, that's self-explanatory. That's your thrower. That's your catcher. And their star player, which is Zara the Slayer. Deadass. There you go. Anyway, the elf team. The only cool elves in the game. Right there. That's right. Shredder. Maybe dark elves are cool to some degree too, but not my style. Okay, your lineman, your catcher, your thrower, your blitzer I showed you, and Eldril Sidewinder. I really wish they didn't have such a queer star player, but look at his chest, and I'm sure he's probably some crazy Jeffrey Dahmer type or something, like, hey, I'll seduce you and rip your throat out or something, whatever. To each his own, I guess, but I won't judge, but that's pretty gay. High Elf. These guys have gotten complaints about their look. Basically, the High Elves are extremely arrogant. They are high and mighty royal princes, and they are basically arrogant pricks. They show off their armor. They show off fancy shit. They probably wore this kind of armor to the field just because it was expensive and rich and wanted to show it off, rather than wearing your traditional Blood Bowl uniforms. Still, they might be heavily armored, but they're still fragile like your traditional elves, only they have a really amazing passing game. But they are probably, I think, the most durable of the elves because of their expensive armor and high-class stuff. Your lineman, your catcher. They're bringing back the cool part of cone heads. Good shit. Blitzers. He does actually look kind of fucking cool, to be honest. I won't lie. The helmet's badass. And their main guy, which apparently... See, the elves, it's similar. The elves share star players, too. You have the Eldril Sidewinder guy and Zara the Slayer, which can both be on this team. So High Elves more or less, borrow their star players from other teams. So star players are rarely seen. They're pretty much the elite people of the Blood Bowl sport that don't play for a team anymore, but they get hired by other teams. That's why a lot of star players can be hired by multiple teams. These are your Khemris. That's the fucking Tomb Guardians I got my ass beat by for a while there, but finally beat them with my vampires by being agile. These guys are one of the strongest units in the game without really any side effects. They're just powerful. They they're not agile at all. They have an agility of 1, the lowest they can possibly get. So they're really slow, but they have no like wild animal tendencies or things that prevent them. They're just powerful. But this entire team as a whole is bad at passing, not that fast, and I guess would be the best at just brawling your face in. They also have skeletons on their team, a little differently armored though. They're Thro-Ras, or Throwers. They're Blitz-Ras, or Blitzers. And they have that Nekbra and Ram-Tut III. Okay, this is another undead team, or similar to undead team. A lot of them have similar units. These guys have werewolves, but they also have zombies, like the other undead team had. Ghouls, like the other undead team had. And wights. The only thing different about them is that they also, rather than having some of the other units that the other ones had, they have flesh golems and werewolves. So, and then they have the Count Luther von Drakensborg, Nekbra, Ram-Tut. They're more of an alternative undead team. The undead team you see here has mummies, which are really powerful. Skeletons, which are very cheap. And so on and so on. So, I think Necromantic team is all about raising things from the dead to some degree. It's not, they don't do it during the field, but all the units are based on, their cost is based on how hard it would be to acquire that. See, they have zombies, but they don't have skeletons, and so the zombies are a little more expensive. So the undead team has a little more has cheaper units to employ on the field, and they have some flesh golems, some werewolves. So it's more of an alternative thing. They probably don't play very similar. They may seem like they'd play the exact same, but they probably have unique strategies that I'm unaware of just because I am not a pro quite yet. Nurgles, basically corrupted, mutated chaos, and in Warhammer there's always been different chaos gods. Nurgle is the one of decay. So you have your Rotters, which is, if Nurgle team kills you, you get Nurgle Rot and raise on their team. So they actually can get a Rotter for each character they kill from another team. I'm pretty sure. So anyone they kill, they get on their team. Prestigor, these are pretty much their corrupted beastmen. Nurgle Warrior is their Chaos Warriors, but corrupt, fucked up. Beast of Nurgle. He's a cute thing. Yeah, not really. And Lord Borak the Despoiler. He's their star player. And we got 2 more left. We got Ogres. Ogres is basically what you would think. Wait, weren't they the star player of the humans? Or the big unit of the humans? Yeah. This team is built up of 6 ogres, up to 6 ogres, and then the rest of the team is filled with snotlings. Snotlings are the only people willing to play on a team full of ogres. So, that being the case, ogres are one of the strongest things on the field, next to a treeman. They're really close to trolls and, other larger things like that. So having 6 of them on the field is pretty deadly, but of course you have to deal with their brain, them going stupid, them forgetting where they're at, a lot of shit like that. Of course, then they have the other people on their team, which makes up for it. So basically you have the power, the blunt force, with the inconsistency of the ogre team. And then you have the consistent, so small, they're smaller than halflings, they're smaller than everybody, they are the weakest thing to ever step foot on a Blood Bowl field. First off, let's just take this little ball right here, that's his foot, that's the ball. Ogres are pretty big. Snotlings, on the other hand, they're practically the ball. Very tiny.